있고요. 바로 오른편에 RD가 보입니다. RD가 보이는 데서 RD가 보이는 쪽으로 횡단보도를 걸어서 쭉 내려가시면 오지넷이라는 학교가 오른편에 보일 겁니다. 가보실까요? 끝까지 내려오시면 저 앞에 이제 브리즈번 리버, 브리즈번 강이 보이고, 네, 오른편에 보면 오지넷 일렉트리컬 트레이닝이라고 적혀 있는 건물이 보입니다. 네, 도착했습니다. 감사합니다.
Welcome to Ozinet Electrical Training. So it's the Australian Institute of Electrotechnology, and what we do here is electrical training. I'm Kevin, I'm the training manager here, and I'm also a trainer. And I'm an electrician myself, and I teach electrical training to the students who pursue to become electricians or instrument engineers or hazardous area electricians. So I'm just going to walk through the door and show you what's inside. This here is the Brisbane branch. So we have a branch in Darwin as well. So if you look around the facility, it's all basically electrical stuff that is in the classroom, which I will talk about in more detail when we go a bit closer. Alrighty. As an electrician in Australia, you need to do installation and you need to do design as well.
Oh, design as well.
So you have to do design and install. So you design the installation and then you put it together.
Oh, okay.
So basically, if I can show you here, so typically an electrician would wire the whole house, wire this switchboard, and he has to design this switchboard. And then if you look here, it's pretty much like a house. This is all like miniature house, but all the wiring has been put together. You connect the wires, you put them together, and you make it work. And you basically wire up the whole house.
Whole house, okay.
That's basically
why
what.
the electric.
So if you look here, this is our solar installation skid, and we've got an inverter, another kind of inverter. We've got solar panels. So this is basically how the students actually take out this whole system and they reinstall it again. So this is to show how to do installation or dismantle and assemble the solar panels. And before you do this, there's a lot of background involved. You need to understand how it works. You need to understand the theory behind it, how it works. And once you draw the drawings, the schematics, we'll check them, and then you can do the installation. Again, this is a bit more advanced kind of course, but as far as the installation work goes, it is a basic course. Okay, so now next part here is, if you look at this, this is basically a testing skid that we have to basically show how the electricity comes from the street into the house. And here we have, different faults that have been created where the students can pick up what's wrong with the installation, and then they have to document all this and then give it to us. Here we have a low voltage rescue kit. So this has got, insulated gloves in it. These gloves protect the gloves, and this is basically a hook. If someone gets stuck, you can, it should never happen that someone gets stuck, but if someone does, that's a rescue kit that's available for a rescue. We teach how to do the rescue as well. And these are some of the tools, and this is a actual physical installation of a switchboard in a residential home. It's a 3-phase installation, and to do this installation you need all these cables, wires, which are sitting over here. You need all these tools that are over there. So all the tools are required to do this installation, and then if you look here, once the installation is all done, this is just an example on how to use fixings on a wall. And this is another installation where you do conduit practical. So this has just been done by a student recently.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to test that. And once the student tests it, then he will basically pass. A few more tools, a few more high-vis clothes that if you have to work outside, you got to wear these. And a few more. There's a bench grinder, a vise over here. A few more tools. Again, there's a lot to do. It's not all of the tools will be used by every student. So I'll come around and show you a few more things. This is a bit more advanced. This is hazardous area. This is instrumentation. not a basic course. This is much more advanced. Now, if you really want to pursue a career, you can do all these things, and like if you learn these hazardous area instrumentation, you will never be out of a job. You could go anywhere in the world and have a job if you're a E&I technician, electrical and instrumentation technician. And then there's more tools, more meters. These are all, different meters here, different gauges. Again, more expensive meters. This just like again, it sounds overwhelming, but once you learn, you got to take baby steps. It is a long journey. You can start off with a as less as a 4-week course, which is your probably certificate 2 in electrotechnology, and then you want to do cert 3 for example in electrotechnology. That could be anywhere from 2 to 4 years, and then you spend another year doing instrumentation. So it's like a 5-year journey, but at the end of 5 years you are going to be a person who will always have a job. But in those 5 years you're still getting paid because you're an apprentice or you're a trainee, and you're learning while you're earning, if that makes sense. And that's the beauty about being a tradesman rather than doing your engineering. When you're doing engineering, you're only learning, you're not getting paid for it. Whereas when you're doing a trade, you're actually getting paid while you learn. So that's the great thing about it. It does take a while, but eventually you'll get there. Anyway, a few more things here, and there's some installation for cable tray practical, as it says over here. Again, as I said, this is a workshop. This is not just engineering. It's lots of hands-on things happen here. And if you come further, you'll see that there is practicals for your conduit. There's another practical that this is just a student has done this one. We need to test it. We need to check all the power is correct, all the wiring is correct. We're going to do that later on. And then this is again a bit more advanced, where you see this is a commercial switchboard, and it's got the installation has been done, and there's a few faults in it that have been deliberately been put in it. So it's the student's job to pick those faults. And there's a few more switchboards. Again, I mentioned it won't make a lot of sense now, but as you get into the trade, it will slowly start making sense. So
it's really complicated.
It is complicated. And then we have a bit more electrical equipment here that we need to constantly do practicals and put it together. Here we have a scope, oscilloscope, where we measure. It's not on at the moment, but so here you can see how current and voltage work and what you expect, and how it's very hard to see electricity, and this is the only tool that actually allows you to somewhat see what electricity and electrical parameters are doing in here. So that's your oscilloscope, and there's a few more things here on the bench. Here are a few more things where it's all control circuits. Again, sounds complicated, or looks complicated, but when you progress through the course, you learn. This is probably one of the most complicated ones in our course, which is the PLC, which kind of goes from being a tradesman into transitioning into your engineering qualification. So once you finish this course, what you could do next is you can become an electrical engineer. But if you do this and then become an electrical engineer, then you are more knowledgeable on the practical side of things and on the theory side of things.